Hey, hello everyone. Just quick check for the sounds. Let me first. Yeah, send the SoundCloud bot away. So can you hear me, everyone? By the way, if you're looking for a place to speak on the chat, this stage has its own built-in chat that you can use for text, as many of you have already started writing there. We run the announcements, and I think we should be good with the recording as well. Just doing the last check, so yes, we're perfect. So okay, hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I think this is the first of the community calls that we're doing after we launched THENA. Because many of you might remember, it is actually October is the first time that anybody has heard about THENA, as we had started our socials, our Discord server, our Telegram during October 2022, which means that it is going to be nearly 2 years since we started the whole project and have been running up to now. So today we are going to do, as I already mentioned, a community call between everyone, as we are joined today by our CEO Theseus, CMO Apollo, and also our dear Artemis. To give you a little bit of background, a little bit of past events, what we have done so far in these 2 years, what we have achieved, and what our focus is currently on, what we have been doing, and also, of course, a little bit about what we are planning to do in the future as a part of our roadmap. So stay tuned with all these past and old news that we have, all past and new news that we are going to share with the community. And first of all, today is a Wednesday, so I would really like to remind everyone that today is the voting day before the epoch flips at the end of this midnight UTC. So please, if you haven't done so, do not forget to vote. Also, big congratulations to all the Zealy questers out there. It has been a fantastic 3 weeks, and more sprints will be coming. One of them has just started, in fact, but there will be a lot of quests. Well, Zealy campaigns are really very important for all of us. It is not only a marketing tool, but also for us a way to get the community involved in the project, learn about THENA, and share this knowledge among everyone else. So really congratulations for all of you who have joined and run the sprint and who have earned some along the way. So we have got a lot to talk. Let me try to cut this beginning as short as possible. And I would like to first give the first key place for our CEO Theseus, as he would like to give you his own words about what THENA is and what we have been doing so far. So Theseus, welcome, and I hope you're good today.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the great intro, Xermes. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Very busy beginning of September. It's also been a busy summer in the background. I'm going to tell you more about it shortly, but yeah, doing great. Glad to have our first community call with everyone. I know a lot of you have been asking for an updated roadmap, what are our current priorities, and a bit of a glimpse of what's going on in the background. So this is why we're here today. So very excited to be able to spend a bit of time with you, share some thoughts about what we've accomplished so far and where we're headed, because, well, that's the most important part. So before getting into the what's coming next and what's going to be our areas of focus for the next months and the next year, I'd just like to take a bit of time first to kind of like reassess what we've done since we've started and to kind of like put THENA on the map and benchmark it against the industry and against our past metrics as well. So obviously, a lot of you have seen it on Twitter, but we just passed 23 million in revenue. Of course, all in the pockets of the holders and the NFT holders, 10% of the fees actually. But yeah, I would just like to highlight that achieving such a high revenue in our first years of operation is, in our opinion, a big success, even if it's just the beginning and the first stone, so to speak, in what we aim to provide to our ecosystem at large. But I just want to give you a quick breakdown to compare 2023 and 2024 so far. So during our first year of operation in 2023, we printed $20 million of the during the entire year. And with that, we generate $11.7 million of revenue for our token holders. And if you want the breakdown, we generated 3.9 million of fees versus 7.8 million of bribes. And so for the net revenue, well, we were at minus $8.4 million. Well, the first year for V3 DEX, you can expect that in a sense that we launched with only a UniV2 AMM. We were way more reliant on bribe as a main source of revenue. And well, I guess we all know that the bribing market can only be attractive for protocol if they can only get a return on their spending, meaning that the capital efficiency of your voting incentives needs to be above one. And this is a small issue I would think that we have to onboard protocol currently. I'm going to get into more details later. But so we went from producing 33% of our revenue that was generated from fees to in 2024, it now represents 76%, actually 77% of our revenue. We completely flipped the script. Now, most of the revenue is driven by fees. This can be explained by many different factors, but the main one is that we switched to concentrated liquidity and that we also managed to always have efficient markets with the different ALMs we're working with. And so far in 2024, and we still have 3 months and a half to go, we printed $9.8 million of emissions throughout the year, and we already made 11.3 million. So we are positive at 1.5 million in net revenue. And of course, the year is not done. What it shows is that we've managed to increase our profit while also reducing our spending, which is something that we want to see in order to have a sustainable model. We all know that the first year of operation for a V3 is very critical. It's kind of like you need to be able to constantly onboard new protocols and make them part of your ecosystem, make them become stakeholders, and basically have the ecosystem at large, whether it is investors, the community, or the protocols that deploys various strategies to lock this is the only way a V3 can work. And on that side, we've also more than excelled, I would say. We currently have 72% of our supply that is locked for an average of 1.8 years, if I'm not mistaken. But if we take a look at the bigger picture, our maximum theoretical supply is 310 million, and we currently have 141 million that are locked. That means that we're at half of our emission schedule, so to speak, and we already locked almost 50% of the total supply. And if you check at the past weeks, we've been stalling a bit, but what I can give you from an insider perspective is that we had more than one protocol that is currently looking to acquire, but in various ways, Viva in order to control more and more emissions. Some announcement will be done within the next weeks in that regards. But what that means essentially is that in the eyes of protocol, they still see THENA as a growth driver for their liquidity, which is a very good thing if we want to continue to expand. Now I want to give you a bit of a glimpse. I touched on the fact that if you want to onboard protocols through the VA3 model, through bribes, you need to bring them capital efficiency. But what that means essentially is that you need to be spending more than you're actually producing revenue. So is it a bad thing actually to be in such a situation? No, it's not. We have various phases. So obviously we had our first big growth phase where we were printing a lot of emissions and it took time for the revenue to catch up. But those are also times where you have the most opportunities from our standpoint, because this is where we can engage new protocols to start by bribing, depositing POL, and basically deploying their strategies to get a long-term position into Vita. And so right now, what you're seeing on THENA is that we're stalling a bit because we're generating way more revenue than what we're printing so far, and it's been months like this. And so that makes it a tough environment to attract other top protocols. The good news on that side, and I can touch on it a bit later on, is that BNB chain is still very hot. I can tell you that all the biggest LRT protocols, all the DeFi that you're seeing on Ethereum, they're all interested and recognize the value of deploying on BNB chain in order to grow all their metrics, and that we're in touch with them. For example, so recently you must have seen we onboarded Lido, which is deploying more than $8,000 of bribes per week since they started. But we have many other LST and LRT protocols that are going to launch on THENA within the next weeks. Of course, if we get into another growth phase, it will make things way easier for us to keep onboarding them. And to give you another glimpse, what we can see from the BD side of things is that we're in touch with many protocols that still didn't do their TGE, and everyone is waiting for mid Q4. Like the first listing that we have for these protocols that are pre-TGE, they're all talking about a listing between end of October and beginning of January and giving themselves a leeway. What they're trying to do, obviously, is to time the markets. So we should see more and more listing from new protocols coming within the next months. In the meantime, we're focused on opening new blue chip asset pools, increasing the efficiency of our fees per dollar of TVL, which I guess we've done a great job so far at this, and continue basically increasing the efficiency of the DEX. But the takeaway from this, in my opinion, is that THENA, we've shown a lot of resilience during this market. We've been in half a bull market for some tokens, for some ecosystem, but not for others. And what I can say is that the revenue growth and the overall growth that we've seen, we're very pleased with it. And we're just we're impatient to see the next rounds. Now that was to kind of like put THENA back on the map. Oh, something else that I can tell you is that I don't know if some of you check DeFi Llama, but we are constantly top 10, sometimes top 5 in 24 hours revenue generation. And we're currently, I think, 6 over the last 30 days. And even if you look over the last year, we're still within the top 10 between all DEXs across all chains. Once again, showing the profitability and that our model works and that now we need to scale it. Now, I know some of you, we've been talking about Arena. We've been talking, well, about our global roadmap that we updated at the beginning of the year. We obviously had some delays in that regard. There are no excuses. The fault is on many sides, and most of it is, I would say, on me. That is always bullish about shipping things fast. And I think that comes from the fact that when I started building in DeFi, I did it with a very small team and we were not organized as we are right now. And now it's way more than just building a product, testing it out, and releasing it. Now THENA is on another level that when I started with a way bigger team that we kept scaling. And so it's also up to me and the others as well to like reorganize our operations as we scale. And this has proven to be something that is tough, and we're getting the hang of it. And I would say our productivity keeps increasing. But still, we had some delays. We finally released Arena, but that doesn't mean that in the background during the summer, not a lot has happened. Because if you take a look at it, so we finally shipped Arena, of course, along with the story that fits perfectly with the campaign of BNB chain. We also released the particle network integration, so with account abstraction, and we're going to have the universal account very soon. I saw some questions about if we intended to do some marketing campaign. Yes, we are. I'm going to get into more details sooner after. But yeah, we also got an upgrade on Alpha, but that's thanks to our friends at Intentex. And all those things were released within the last 2 weeks. However, the work has been ongoing during the entire summer. And on top of that, our devs have been hard at work providing all the feedback for the audit that we had for our VE33. So a couple of key components that will unlock with our VE33. So we'll have meta-stable pools and weighted pools. Meta-stable pools, they're, in our opinion, a key growth driver for the LST, LRT space. You can, for example, see those are taken from Balancer, the DEX. And if right now you take a look at the activity of Balancer, you can see that Balancer is perfectly positioned to capture the LRT and LST market. And that's because of their various AMM curves. And so we're looking to take that and to implement it on BNB. We'll be the first one to offer it. That's going to be of a great help to onboard those protocols. Then the most major upgrade, I would say, is plugins. So I've already talked during various spaces about plugins, but the main goal is that from now on, our AMM will become kind of like a DeFi ecosystem and even beyond, where any protocols can directly tap into our AMM and our user base by building their own hooks that can be available per pool. So to give you a bit of alpha, so I talked about implementing limit orders, TWAP, anyways, various types of orders. But on top of that, you can build fully fledged tap on top of it. So for example, you can enable margin trading on top of our liquidity pool. You could offer delta neutral strategies, for example, on top of our CLAMM. So like the limits there are no limits essentially, but one of the big POC that we're doing right now, and we're currently just received the audit as well, and we'll be announcing something about our POC shortly after token 2049, I expect, is that at THENA, we're very bullish on real world assets. And we think it's time for our industry to go beyond the closed loop circle we're in, which is trade a crypto for another crypto, provide a crypto to borrow another one and leverage it. And we need actual use case. And we think AMMs are perfectly tailored to answer the needs from real world asset deployers. And so what we're doing right now is that we built a plugin for KYC and permission pool, because we've been talking to a lot of these real world asset deployers. And of course, they need to be AML compliant. And that means that from the moment they initiate the pool, they deposit the liquidity to also enable people to trade on top of that liquidity. We need to pass different security check. It can differ from providers to providers, but the basic case is that you need to be able to take KYC data and put it in their database. So this is something that we've been working with, and we landed a contract with real world asset deployer in regards to tokenized equity. So this is the first thing we'll be showcasing after we release our V3. But before that, I just want to make an important point, is that the release of our V3, you're not going to capture the value instantly as soon as we release it, because as I said, it's about building an ecosystem around it and attracting builders, and also finding new product market fit is something that we're going to have to do by trial and error, and by attracting builders, by running hackathon, by being in touch with like various niches within the industry to understand exactly what could they do more with an AMM and how we can bring it to them. So this is an ongoing effort that we've already started. We also already have a partnership with a ZK coprocessor company to build some plugins with us. So that would, for example, allow us to take, social logins, any attestations off chain, anything that happens off chain as a verification, for example, before trading, or to give you a fee discount, for example, or even to remove CBILs from Arena. For example, we could require a social login plus a CAPTCHA verified on chain and give the rights to the user. So it enables a lot of very, very unique cases that will definitely unlock new features and new products on top. But this is going to be a long-term work, even if we're still going to see some innovation right off the bat, as the POC that I just mentioned. So this is for the plugins. Then we'll have cross-chain capabilities. We've already talked about it. So from there on, THENA will have the gauge mechanism and the entire V33 that can be expanded onto other chains. fun fact and quick inside fact. I guess you've seen in the last months, we're seeing one L2, new L2 or out L1s a day, especially with the narrative fading around ETH, even if it's short term, in my opinion. But the market and the liquidity is being more and more fragmented at the moment. And what I can tell you is that we come to a point where we have so many different layers and so many different blockchains that actually right now it's the chains that are trying to get the builders. And so I think at THENA, we have like at least 2 calls per month with upcoming layer 2s around BTC-Fi or on top of Ethereum. And they want us to expand or build a native DEX there. Our stance is pretty clear on that side. We will not fork THENA with new tokenomics. We've already discussed it many times. But now that we can go cross-chain, even if it's not our short-term objective and we still have so much to do on BNB chain, this is something that will be possible in the future to expand, unlock bribing budgets from foundation, from chains that want to bootstrap their ecosystem from the ground up. So this in the future might prove to be a big opportunity as well. And on top of that, I'm not the most suited to talk in details about that part, but we took a lot of code optimization that we took from our previous Open Zeppelin audit. And we removed the delay in rewards, the fact that you need to wait 1 week to claim your rewards, and a bunch of other optimizations. So this is about our VE3. All this smart contract wise, it's ready, audited, ready to go. Now, our big focus is going to be on assuring a seamless migration. So it's going to be the second time during our 3 years of operation that we're going to have to migrate all the liquidity from one pool to another. So right now we're working with various ALMs, the ALMs integrated on THENA, to find a solution to almost automate it or make it one click. And this is very important because we know that during this migration period, you can lose some TVL. So we're going to take the time to offer the best UX and the most seamless way to transfer your liquidity. And we aim at the moment to release V3, I would say beginning of October, and give us 2-3 weeks of delays. So between October and beginning of November, I would say, to give you a rough overview, but you know how good I am with assessing deadlines.
Well, if any of you know Theseus from his liquid driver times, you would know that if you let him speak for a long time, he will just give you spill the beans out of his mouth and giving the best alpha that you can possibly hear. So thank you for giving all those insights so far. And I have seen somebody from the chat who said that this is the first time they hear me speaking. Well, again, for some of you who are more knowledgeable about liquid driver, you might remember my voice, but it's a whole other story that I will not really get in today. So aside from the operational and the business development stuff here on THENA, we also, one of our really strongest assets is actually Apollo himself doing the marketing side of things. Because you know that in crypto, when everybody asks about when marketing, what's marketing, it's all the shiny stuff that doesn't really last that well. And that's usually what users think that it is the best take for marketing. But on THENA, we have a totally different angle thanks to the work of Apollo. So Apollo, would you like to give us again a brief explanation on what we have done so far and maybe what we are going to do in the near future?
Yeah. Hey guys. Yeah, sure. A little bit of what we have been doing so far. So like most of our efforts marketing wise have been around the community part of things, or community side of things. So you guys who are participating in our Zeely are a huge part of our marketing efforts. And yeah, as you can see, a lot of the community members have, a really, really high quality content and starting to gain a lot of followers as well. So it's really helping us out to kind of have a better reach over time. You have also, there was a question around the particle network and, things that we're doing kind of to make it easier for non-crypto users to onboard and what we're kind of doing in marketing regards that. well, obviously, we're looking at some of the Web2 marketing strategies, advertising and stuff, but we're also looking to expand into other mediums where we haven't really been able to tap into the audiences, like YouTube, for example. TikTok is a really powerful tool that I see that could be a really effective for us as well going into the future. And of course, AI, you guys have seen, for example, I think it was Dimitri who made this AI avatar that can speak like a fluent English speaker. So there's just so much potential with the tools that we now have thanks to AI and new Web3 advertising and everything that, yeah, I'm just super bullish about what we're going to be able to do with the product that we have and with the marketing tools that we now have. So yeah, really looking forward to tapping into the new markets. We're also starting to host more and more offline events. For example, our Singapore event, you guys might have seen it already, but it's going to be a pretty big one and it's getting a lot of media attention already. And the best part of it is, since we are trying not to spend too much money, is we got the venue for free and we also have sponsors for the event. So we're being really cost effective with the offline event side of things. But yeah, going to be expanding on that and the regional communities more in the future.
Well, if you haven't, as already mentioned by Apollo, most of the team members will be in Singapore next week during Singapore Token 2049. We already have our own event. I think Artemis already shared the link on the chat. It's called Beyond the Horizon. And if you have the chance, if you are there, please find any chance to come to the event, or you will be able to meet our team members in different events as well. You will have the chance to meet them. So if you are in Singapore, really look forward to seeing one or two team members around. I know that definitely Apollo and Theseus will be there, but most of our team members as well. So let's talk about a little bit of our future. Well, in fact, Theseus already mentioned about a few key points there. But if you would like to get in depth with our plans for the future, please share it with the community so we'll have a better understanding. So, by the way, before giving the stage to Theseus, we are already going through some of the AMA questions by answering them not individually but talking about them during the AMA. But if there is any question left out, we will also come back to them at the end of the community call, and we'll try to reply them as well. So stay tuned. Yes. Sorry, Theseus, please go on.
Yeah. Just to mention that, yeah, indeed, we'll have to take some questions at the end because, yeah, there were many various different topics, and I wanted to focus mainly on the roadmap and what we're going to bring to the table next within the next month, and then we can focus on the question part. But so basically, I started our closest release. Obviously, is going to be our V3 migration with the first plugins, with the POC I mentioned. We're also looking to completely change the way we incentivize liquidity. So, as of now, if it's concentrated liquidity, it needs to run through an ALM. It makes the process very straightforward, very retail friendly. It provides a good UX. However, from talking to many institutions that would potentially like to farm instead of fees, it's important that we allow them to do so. And so we're going to do this through a plugin that we're currently working on. And so from there on, you will be able to provide liquidity manually or through an ALM if you wish. And one of our big focus as well, but it's kind of like separate, is that we're also going to have a dedicated UI so that you can have a better understanding of what you can earn if you would farm fees instead. So THENA takes 10% of those fees, but you would earn the 90% remaining. And sometimes, especially when we had a lot of volume, just right before the summer, you could see that, and actually still now, sometimes people would be better off, at least for those who know how to manage their liquidity, they would make greater yields by farming the fees themselves. So we're gonna make a dedicated UI that takes time, because it's compared to like emission distribution, it's not something that is linear. It's something that changes based on the volume each day and what's captured by THENA. So we're still figuring out how to provide the best data on that side, but that's going to be an improvement that we're going to be bringing. On top of that, what you've seen with Arena is just kind of like the MVP. I guess you noticed we had during Q3, we had the hackathon with BNB. It's our third one. And it was in regards to meme coin. Meme coins have been all over the place during this bull run. If you look at the top dexes on Solana, it represents, well, more than 80% of their daily volume. BNB chain also started having a focus on trying to onboard more and more meme coin builders. We had some very good proposals. We selected one that is going to work with us to launch a native meme coin on top of THENA. And it's essentially Arena V2. The next feature that we're going to introduce is going to be a global point system, except that compared to other point system, it's post-TG. So we'll have a monthly leaderboard, and users will have to do various things on THENA. They will earn a certain amount of points based on, for example, how much you traded during the months, how many achievements. Each achievements that we have on Arena will translate into points. And at the end of the month, the top 50, top 100 will get rewards. And basically, the meme coin we're mentioning will have a quest to earn feature that will leverage the global point system from Arena, as well as trading competition to onboard more volume. So this is going to be another, in my opinion, another showcase of a good product market fit with meme coins that are trying to, going from being a mini cap to actually drive interest in trading activity. And Arena can definitely help them towards that. I guess you've seen also some fork of Palm.fun, two of them. You have Flap. And you have, what's the name of the other one? I don't remember, but anyways, we're in touch with them as well to showcase the potential of Arena for meme coins that goes out of the bonding curve. So we're looking to have various kind of integration with Arena on that side. And I can answer a question at the same time. I saw if someone was asking if we had sponsors for trading competition, like Floki, like Venus, etc. So the answer is yes. Right now, we're doing trading competitions related to the BNB chain campaign, mostly to attract new users, to make them test the product. But rest assured, we have many trading competition with a lot of sponsoring from more than 10 protocols. So we're going to see trading competitions week after week, month after month during Q4. Then we also have a bunch of UI improvements in the pipe. So we're working on displaying your portfolio directly for THENA. I always said that the goal for THENA is to offer more and more data points so that we can assist traders during their decision making, and not only when they need to swap. So you'll be able to see your portfolio overall cross-chain. We're reworking for an expert trading mode as well. And I mentioned it, the fee farming UI. Then something that we're currently looking at is having something similar to what Sexes offer, which are like kind of like an earn section, easy to use, single-sided deposit. For example, deposit USDT, earn that much APR, which would be done in partnership with some strategizers, contract fully audited, potentially insured strategies, depending on your level of risk that you want to take. And it could be an easy way for newcomers to, for example, deposit USDT for fixed yields or BTC or ETH. And in the same continuation of things, we're also working with a partner to offer delta neutral strats on top of our LP. So for example, you could provide ETH USDT and be delta neutral on ETH or on USDT. You could choose the directionality of your strategy. You could also decide to go long on one of the assets within the LP. For example, you provide BTC USDT, but you're going to get your BTC eaten as it pumps. Well, there will be a way by leveraging alpha to actually keep your directionality in your global position in BNB. And we think this will unlock a lot of TVL. because right now it's very tough for people to assess the profitability of their LP, and they always dislike the downside of getting the asset you're bullish on sold as it goes up in price. So we expect this to drive a lot of TVL for us over time. Then we have to go on to the next one. So this is one that has been discussed for quite some time already. It's Web3 banking. It's to be able to offer a debit card to our user base. So we've been in touch with so many different providers trying to benchmark and see that there are a couple of criteria that were very important. Obviously, it needed to have low fees. Most of the solution that we see, they still have 1-2% fee to off-ramp, which is still quite high. We've had a deal with a provider for quite some time. The problem is that it goes way beyond just providing the service. We're also preparing and supporting them with having their TGE on THENA as a primary listing, along with another top protocol on BNB. And so operationally speaking, it's taking much more time than we expected. So this is an item that we have no date to provide for you. It's still a big focus and it's being worked on right now, but it's very hard to give you guys a date. It could be in 2 months and it could be in early 2025, for example. But rest assured, we're still working on it. And in the next, I don't know, 10 days, 2 weeks, we're still trying to assess which items to put when so that we can give you a good overview of when we expect to ship things. So right now, I'm talking about all the items we're focused on. Some of them are being worked in parallel, but some of them will still take some time to be shipped.
Yes,
And
I mean,
then what we have.
sorry, I just wanted to add that
And
during development time, you can see a lot of surprises, and then it's really most of the things that are not even in our hands too. So yeah, I agree with Theseus there. Please continue.
And also there are some items that also depends on the current situation. Let's take Arena, for example. Launching Arena during the middle of the summer with very low activities in the market, would it have been the best way to launch it? I'm not sure. Market is still at a very low daily volume at the moment. Interest is still minimum. Fears that it's maximum. And so for a product that is supposed to attract people to trade, and especially on the spot side, obviously it's not an ideal time to launch. So in many of the items in our roadmap that we have, there is also like a situation to take into account. Let's take Warp, for example. We've already mentioned it, that we want to build a launch pad. The goal would be to attract top protocols, to be able to have a custom offering for them, giving them access to our network, to a network of VCs that we have to help them scale their liquidity on THENA, a small beta allocation, etc., just to be able to offer something superior compared to our competition and basically develop a strong relationship from the get-go with protocols we feel will be successful. The thing with that is we also need to have the means to do so. One, in terms of human resources, it takes a lot of time to source deal, validate them, put them in touch, and basically do everything that a launchpad should do. And secondly, we would also need THENA to be in a growth process where, I mentioned that we need to provide capital efficient bribes. So launching Warp would need to be done during a growth cycle where you can actually showcase the efficiency when you bootstrap liquidity. So it's just to put a bit of perspective on the decision-making process of the when and the why we should release a product now and when we should withhold some news versus when we should release them. There are many things that already happen at THENA internally that you guys would be very bullish about, but that we cannot talk about because sometimes timing matters a lot. That's just what I wanted to add. Then just to finish, something, it has been a big trend at the moment, and we think it's a very good trend. It's the Telegram mini apps. I think it's important for THENA at some point to offer the basis functionality of its product to Telegram users, especially because we can now also advertise on Telegram. And so our CMO was talking about leveraging other avenues that we haven't been really leveraging, and Telegram is definitely one of them. So we're currently thinking of building a Telegram mini app. The good news with that is that our main investor, Orbs, the main infrastructure, one of the main infrastructure providers for the TON network, have very good relationship and they know how to build them. So we're getting great assistance on that side with their insights and experience.
And
I
I
guess
mean,
in
but
terms of items on the roadmap, we will be busy enough with what I just mentioned to you.
yeah, and also not to forget, you mentioned about a lot of work just based on RWAs in the first part of your speech. So, I mean, added into that, we have a lot to do at our hands for the future. By the way, by mini apps on Telegram, I mean, really, like you will be anything, that's our vision at least. Anything you can do on THENA should be also available with your fingertips on Telegram. But this is the vision we have. I hope we will be able to make it come true. So I'm just checking the AMA questions. Okay, now this one is a good one because it turns two questions into one. So using the as collateral on Venus, and also having the, I know a lot of people are asking this with our funny tag when Binance, but using the as collateral on Venus and being on central exchanges for the token. Would you like to speak about that, Theseus?
Yes, yes, it's actually two questions that are intrinsically together, so to speak, because so we passed a proposal on Venus to list THENA a long time ago. We worked with Binance Oracle to get something up. The problem is that neither on our side or the Venus side we were comfortable with the parameters, and the main reason is that currently you only have liquidity on THENA. You don't have it on other dexes. We didn't want to bootstrap a big LP on PancakeSwap, for example. This was out of the equation. And so that would have required us either to list on a Tier 2 exchange with market making or to open liquidity pools on other dexes on BNB chain, which is something that we didn't want to do. However, we found a temporary solution not to be in core pools, to have an oracle with some stricter parameters. That means way lower LTV, for example, a way lower cap. But just so you know, it's all related to the SEX listing. And so now to come to the SEX listing part, I know a lot of you are asking for when, but here's our stance. The first one is that we do not want to list on an exchange for the sake of listing on an exchange, meaning Tier 2 sexes as a first listing is a no-go. I value THENA way more to just have our first listing with a Tier 2, so we're aiming for a Tier 1. The second thing that I want to mention, and this is something that we're going to have to discuss as a community, is that, so you know our ethos since day one, since we released, most of our supply were airdrop. We launched with a 50 million initial supply out of a total supply of 310 million, and we allocated 12.5 million to the ecosystem funds. Well, just so you are aware, any listing, any Tier 1 sexes between market making, marketing budgets, etc., it requires more than that. So if we want to list on a Tier 1 exchange eventually, the first thing is that we need more Z in the ecosystem. That can go through two ways. Either we completely cut the rebase, and I'm honestly against it. When people lock VIDA, they expected to receive that rebase, changing the contract. It's not something I'm willing. Then again, if VIDA holders would agree, why not? The second is to mint those tokens. So this is something that we're going to have to discuss as a community. But one of the blockers that we have for potential listing is that we need more Z in the ecosystem funds. And once we have a SEX listing, we will definitely list on Venus and other money market as well, even if we've been working very closely with Venus for the past year and continue to do so up to today.
Thank you. Thank you for making those remarks. Very important ones, Theseus. Thank you. So we have already touched on it very briefly, but I also saw a lot of questions regarding that. But Apollo, I think you would like to answer this one. People are asking about community-driven competitions for Arena and any KOL engagement for those. Do we have anything that is related to that in our marketing plan?
Yeah, the ultimate idea of Arena is that people would be hosting their own competitions, including KOLs, community leaders, like let's say there's a club of gamers in Indonesia that are, they want to host a trading competition between each other. That we want it to be possible, and it is possible once we kind of open up the features to a wider community. We're still thinking of how exactly that's going to work out, but we have some initial interest from KOLs already and from some communities as well. If you have any suggestions for specific KOLs that you would like to see hosting competitions on THENA, please drop your suggestions. We can reach out to them and work with them in the future. But we do have big plans around that.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that as well. We are running a bit of our time, but I will also answer these questions that are placed on the chat very quickly, the easy ones. First of all, I have also seen one question on chat as well about the smart wallet. The smart wallet is the naming of the particle network solution that we have provided right now. You can actually use it right now, is especially for those people who do not have any wallet or do not have any knowledge about a wallet prior to using anything on the chain. So with the particle network solution, right now they can easily come to THENA, create their wallets just by using any of their social network login, like Facebook, like Twitter, even with their mail or their Google account. They can right now get onto THENA and start using it right away, thanks to the solution that has been provided by the particle network. So the smart wallet that we have mentioned was our solution for that. There is please, Apollo. I would really, because I don't have all the technical details, but you might really like to share what power it has for the community.
Yeah, this is just the first iteration of it. Like, as you may know or may not know, a particle network is building this kind of like a universal account, which means that, let's say you're holding ETH, it's not only going to be on BNB chain, it's going to be universally available for each chain. So that is kind of one of the biggest features of the wallet. And also, you don't need the specific gas token on a specific chain, making it way, way easier than it is right now to use a DeFi wallet. But this first version is already amazing. You can log in with your socials, as Sermes said just now. And I don't know if you guys have tried it, but it works really, really well. And looking forward to the next stage of it.
Yes, very important and very, very nice feature that we will see the fruits more later. So there was Dante's question about the cross-chain voting and OP-BNB focus, which is you asked if cross-chain for OP-BNB voting included in THENA V3, and yes. The answer is yes. We are going to introduce the cross-chain voting with THENA V3. We are preparing a documentation for all the new implementations that will be introduced with V3, and cross-chain voting is definitely will be one. OP-BNB maturity, it is still at its infancy, and BNB chain also acknowledges that, but there are a lot of technical solutions that are being done in the background by BNB chain for OP-BNB. So I think it might be a slow transition, but we are going to see more use case of OP-BNB both on BNB chain and also on THENA as well. So Remember, the name has many good questions, by the way, but I would really like to touch on some of them. Theseus, maybe you can get into. You have already given us a glimpse of the power of plugins that will be introduced very shortly, especially when more RWAs are introduced on THENA. But are there anything else you can add for the functionality of these plugins that will be introduced? And also about your once you had stated that THENA will be the homepage of BNB where BNB users check. So how do you feel right now about progressing into that goal?
And that's a good and complete question. The short answer of how do I feel about us being the BNB chain homepage for DeFi is that THENA should not be called THENA V3, it should be called V0.3 in a sense that we're still very, very far away. Some of it need to be worked on our side. Some of it need to be worked as like the industry as a whole, in the sense that we still have many barriers to entry infra-wise to be able to provide such an easy UX, but we're definitely seeing some improvements. And even on the THENA side, you just have to compare THENA when we started to where we are now. My personal train of thoughts is that we're way more user friendly. It's way more accessible, and this is the direction we've taken since the beginning, and that we keep doing by introducing all the tooling that we did, such as the particle network integration with the smart wallet, the direct ALM integration into our farming process, just trying to have like the best UX so that it's as easy as possible, almost like a mobile user experience, where it's like big buttons and you can easily understand things. It's still not perfect, but we're definitely making some good progress on that side, and that will remain one of our focus for the long term. And the first part of the question was about plugins. But I give quite a bit of details about plugins on what I'm most excited about. So we have the real world asset. We have the strategies on top, being able to offer delta neutral strategies, long strategies, giving like way more granularity and customizability to liquidity providers, so that we can both answer the needs of newcomers as well as market makers, professional LPers, traders. This is the goal at the end of the day, and this is what's the most complicated part. You want to be very easy to use, and you want to be as granular as possible for your more experienced users. So this is something we're constantly working on as well. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it on the plugin side of things. So we have all the types of orders, we have specialized strategies, we have real world assets, and then you will have fully fledged app on top of this. So for example, I can see in the future money markets like Venus having direct integration within THENA, so that, for example, people can provide their idle liquidity in stablecoins pool, for example, or your stablecoin can go to, for example, a fixed income vault that is stablecoin based, basically integrating with the other layers within DeFi so that you can maximize the efficiency of your capital. And so this is what I'm the most excited about.
Okay. Okay. Now, I muted myself many times before I knew it. So well, we're wrapping it up. We're nearing to an hour right now. We're going to wrap it up, but I would like to ask this question as the last one, Theseus, again, if you can answer it. Do we have any plans for audits in the future for the current and the ongoing products? And I know that we have just introduced our Hacken audit. You can also read it, guys. We already tweeted out, but you can also read it in Hacken website. We have been audited for our V3, and so the question is, are we going to have any further audits or any plans for auditing in the near future?
Yes, definitely. It was a first audit. We're definitely looking to get one more from a tier one. We would like to continue with Open Zeppelin, but it's also about budget, right? Like we are a DEX that redistributes all the revenue to been able to expand the team, but now we need to go to the next stage before being able to increase our spending. So yes, we're looking to get other audits, but short term, this will be the main audit for a launch. We're also working with security researchers. We're also paying a lot of money to have great tooling to be able to detect exploits early on and to stop them before they happen. It doesn't only stop at the audit part. It's also about the monitoring, being able to catch an exploiter before it's actually going to start. And we're also actively doing that with many security partners. And luckily on THENA, we never had an exploit. And trust me, security, if I want to sleep well at night, we will spend as much as we need for security.
Yes, this is really one of the most important aspects for us. There was, in fact, you've touched on this again, so I would like to finish it by asking this again, Theseus. There was a question about the development team, and you also touched on the our expansion. So, would you like to give the community at least a sense of how many people are behind THENA and how many people are working approximately or exactly for THENA?
16 people in total. When we started, we were what, maybe 5, 6 maximum. Yeah, we've scaled quite a bit during this time, and we aim to scale way more. In terms of development team, it's 3 full-time smart contracts engineer, 1 full-time backend engineer, and 2 full-time front-end engineer.
That's really, I mean, from the small number of 5, 6, expanding your team up to 15, 16 is really something. You have to be very careful and also very cautious to get the people that we're working with. But we're really having a very good time with here with all the people working on THENA. So let's get the closing words, guys. Thank you very much, both Theseus and Apollo, for spending your time here on this first community call with us. So any closure points, Apollo? Let's hear from you first.
Yeah, I guess I just want to say stay bullish because there's good things coming up and yeah, good times ahead.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much. And Theseus, some closing remarks?
Yeah, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today, and thank you everyone also for the great support. So especially, I'm super proud to see so many of you eager to test our product with Arena. You've been of a great help. With our socials, you guys have been of a great help. I see all the many posts about our metrics, our roadmap, about what is THENA, educating people. So we are in a decentralized business, so to speak. Community is key to our growth, and you guys, in my opinion, are one of the best community that we can see in DeFi. I would like to see it stay this way in a sense. I just want to touch on the fact that building in DeFi, when you're doing things properly, is very, very stressful. It's very time consuming, and it's also navigating between short-term objectives and long-term objectives, right? We're in a fast-paced industry. People want news, people want release, but people also want security and people want money. And so all those things, they can only be achieved over the long term, and we can only remain productive by having a community that is behind us. And this is what you've been doing so far. So I'm really grateful for all of you supporting us on a daily, weekly basis. So thank you for that. And as our CMO said, I can tell you guys that you are going to be very, very happy with what's coming for us. We have so many news in the pipe, so stay bullish, stay with us, and it's just the beginning for THENA.
Thank you very much. Yes, stay bullish is our final motto here, closing this community call. I guess. Thank you very much again for joining us. Thank you for listening to this, listening to us, and getting the alpha from the first hand. The whole community call has been recorded, and hopefully we are going to upload it on our YouTube channel very soon. So if anybody missed this or wasn't able to listen to what we have spoken here, you can later tune in the YouTube channel and then listen to the recording itself. So again, thank you very much, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Take care, guys. Stay bullish, and see you later.
Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye.